Welcome to the Google Cloud Update for the week commencing Monday, the 10th of August, 2026. Today is Friday, August 14th, 2026, and we are thrilled to bring you the most exciting developments, previews, and major releases from across the Google Cloud ecosystem over the last week. This week, we have a massive lineup of updates. First, we will tackle infrastructure security, detailing major hardware-level patches and critical oxygen monosulfide level mitigation strategies. Then we are turning our attention to databases, celebrating the highly anticipated general availability of Cloud SQL for MySQL 9.7, and checking out updates for AlloyDB, Spanner, and Bigtable. In our third segment, we will explore the AI and analytics space, featuring the global launch of Gemini 3.7 Flash, incredible new capabilities in Gemini Enterprise, Looker Studio updates, and core development tools. Ready to get started? Let's go! Let's start with security and core infrastructure. On the security front, it's been a busy season for hardware-level bulletins. Over the past few months, security researchers and hardware vendors have identified several CPU and platform vulnerabilities. These range from virtual trusted platform module, or virtual TPM leaks, to architectural issues in select Intel and AMD processors. The good news here is that for the vast majority of these advisories, no customer action is required. Google has already proactively applied mitigations to the entire cloud server fleet. This includes fixes for select AMD secure processors and Intel L1 cache side channels. However, you should keep an eye on a couple of items. For the architectural issue affecting certain ARM cores, you must coordinate guest operating system level patches directly with your operating system vendors to protect against threats within your guest environments. And pay close attention to this next one. There is a critical OpenSSH vulnerability. This race condition could allow an unauthenticated attacker to execute code as root. Google has issued patched container-optimized OS and TPU images. If you cannot update immediately, we highly recommend disabling your default Allow SSH firewall rule or restricting access to only trusted networks. Now, let's step away from security and celebrate a massive milestone. Cloud SQL for MySQL 9.7 is officially generally available. This is a huge release. By default, any new primary or replica instances created under MySQL 9.7 will default to the High Performance Enterprise Plus Edition. Let's look at what is actually new under the hood. First, vector search is here. MySQL 9.7 introduces community standard vector storage combined with advanced approximate nearest neighbor, or ANN, vector indexing. This means you can run powerful semantic searches and build AI retrieval workloads right inside your database. Second, we have the Hypergraph optimizer. Unlike the classic query planner that uses rigid heuristics, the Hypergraph optimizer models your query as a graph of table relationships. It evaluates a much broader set of join orders. In complex queries, this can speed up performance by up to 4 times without changing a single line of SQL. It's disabled by default, but you can enable it per query or globally. And third, JSON duality views. This completely bridges the gap between relational databases and document models. Your application can insert, update, or delete entire hierarchical JSON documents, and MySQL handles the mapping to the underlying normalized tables. It gives developers document-style ergonomics without sacrificing relational integrity. Just keep in mind that the legacy MySQL native password authentication is officially gone. You must transition your clients to caching SHA-2 password instead. Several database flags like replica parallel type and slave parallel type have also been removed. And MySQL is not the only database getting love. For AlloyDB, we have an exciting new preview feature, table syncing from BigQuery. You can now sync tables from BigQuery into AlloyDB on a schedule or as a one-time operation. This enables transactional, low-latency operational analytics directly on your data lake, representing a huge step for real-time lakehouse federation. Both Firestore and its data store mode now support the Bangkok region, specifically known as Asia Southeast 3. In Bigtable, parameterized views are now GA, allowing you to dynamically filter data ranges and prevent SQL injection. We also see the GA of the cluster attribute function filter to isolate continuous materialized view processing. Plus, the Bigtable Go library hit version 1.52.0, introducing dynamic session client pools and scaling improvements. Spanner developer experience is also improving. Dynamic channel pooling for gRPC channels is now GA in the Go and Java client libraries. It automatically scales your channel counts to prevent under or over provisioning. For high-performance secure AI workloads, the accelerator-optimized G4 standard 48 machine type is GA in confidential computing, leveraging 5th-generation AMD EPYC Turin processors, AMD SEV, and NVIDIA RTX Pro 6000 GPUs. Finally, GKE cluster version updates are rolling out across rapid, regular, stable, and extended channels, incorporating cumulative container-optimized OS security patches. Let's shift our focus to the AI landscape, analytics, and modern development. Get ready because the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, our generative AI agent platform, has received some incredible upgrades this week. First, Gemini 3.7 Flash is now generally available in the global, US, and EU web app regions. It's incredibly fast and smart. Administrators just need to enable the feature toggle in the Google Cloud Console. Note that it is currently available in the web app and agent designer workflow, but not yet in the mobile app. Next, we have custom skills generally available. End users can now create, upload, and share reusable instructions that guide the Gemini Enterprise Assistant to perform specialized tasks. It's an absolute game changer for team productivity. We also have the GA of the GitHub connector with data federation. This allows your Gemini agent to search and act on GitHub repositories, issues, and pull requests directly from natural language prompts, meaning it can create branches, add comments, and merge pull requests. For deep scientific research, the Alpha Evolve HPC solution is now available. It provides distributed, containerized infrastructure for running large-scale evolutionary code optimization experiments on Google Cloud Batch and the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform. Plus, there are new third-party data store integrations in public preview, including Miro, Smartsheet, Airtable, Gong, and Cisco Workspaces. You can query these using natural language, and some even support actions like adding rows to Smartsheet or updating Miro documents. Administrators also get new capabilities. You can export user data to CSV files, manage pay-as-you-go overages, and configure monthly spend limits on invoiced cloud billing accounts to keep costs under control. Under the hood, Gemini Enterprise agents can now emit experimental, open telemetry-compliant generative AI semantic conventions for richer tracing and metrics. And Custom Model Context Protocol, or MCP, server data stores are GA, letting you securely query private data and internal tools. On the developer workbench side, Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform Workbench v2 has received package upgrades, a Jupyter Lab Git panel buttoner fix, and updated NVIDIA GPU drivers on Debian 12 images. Moving over to analytics and business intelligence, let's look at BigQuery and Looker Studio. BigQuery is updating its billing label for the data transfer service SKU from uppercase to lowercase. The new label is Goog BQ Feature Type Data Transfer Service. If you rely on billing exports or custom dashboards, be sure to update your queries to look for both cases so your cost tracking doesn't miss a beat. Looker Studio has some fantastic new UX features. You can now view individual charts in full screen mode, rotate text boxes, images, and shapes, center labels on stacked bar charts, and easily search for settings in the Properties panel. Plus, you can copy any chart directly to your clipboard as a PNG image and customize bubble chart border colors. Creating beautiful interactive reports just got a lot smoother. In data form, we have a new preview feature. You can now define SQLX semantic metadata directly in your configurations to automatically enrich BigQuery tables and views, which then syncs with the knowledge catalog. Speaking of the knowledge catalog, newly created high availability instances of Cloud SQL for PostgreSQL 14 or later and SQL Server now have knowledge catalog enabled by default, bringing automated near real-time data discovery. Let's round things out with core developer, networking, and observability updates. In Cloud Run, the first generation upgrade tool is now generally available to help you seamlessly move your functions. Cloud Run also received NVIDIA L4 GPU driver updates, and event arc triggers can now restrict deliveries to a single attempt with 0 retries. Managed Service for Apache Airflow has a new release rolling out, featuring optimized worker formulas for Gen 3 web servers, blocked API RBAC bindings overrides, and new Airflow builds. Meanwhile, Managed Service for Apache Spark has resolved an in-place Conda channels bug in its image versions. If you deployed clusters or custom images on or before August 10th, you must recreate them to comply with Google requirements. Check the release notes for those specific image versions. Cortex releases 7.0.2 and 7.0.1 fixed security vulnerabilities in transitive dependencies and resolved PowerShell auto import errors. Developers will love this. Error reporting can now capture stack traces from Rust applications using std backtrace. Just ensure Rust_backtrace is set to 1 and debug symbols are enabled. CloudTrace v2 now automatically captures trace bands for MCP tool call operations on services like Cloud Billing and Personalized Service Health. Plus, custom SQL dashboards can now generate trace exemplars in preview. Contact Center as a Service, CCAAS, hit version 6.0, updating internal infrastructure with pre-release notes showing support for parameters in custom panel URLs and restricted callback offers. Chronicle introduced a public preview feature to analyze feed activity with cloud logging. You can now monitor and troubleshoot SIEM ingestion pipelines directly inside Logs Explorer and utilize Gemini Cloud Assist to investigate telemetry. For networking, connectivity tests now support using a Cloud Run job as a source endpoint. VPC Service Controls introduced a perimeter optimization recommender in preview to scan for perimeter misconfigurations and identify sensitive services operating unprotected. In sensitive data protection, built-in info type detectors for Anthropic API key, Gemini API key, and OpenAI API key are now globally available to help protect your keys. Finally, Security Command Center added AI protection data residency support in Saudi Arabia, a GA integration with Application Design Center, and the GA of Vulnerability Assessment for Google Cloud. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. From the game-changing database capabilities in MySQL 9.7 to the massive launch of Gemini 3.7 Flash and new Gemini Enterprise integrations, there's an absolute wealth of power waiting for you to build with. If you need specific version numbers for GKE updates or the Spark image recreations, don't forget to head over to the official Google Cloud release notes. Don't work too hard this weekend patching those guest operating systems. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the Google Cloud Update.